Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them because of who their parents are. She's the acting, writing, and producing star known for her roles in the UK and the US, and more recently, Paris, France. But is this leading lady opening doors through her parents, or is she an international and multi-talented star off her own back, Jessie? Nepobaby, the podcast where we get into the nitty-gritty details of Nepobaby's life that nobody asked for, but everybody secretly wants to hear. My name is Monica Reid. I'm a creative producer with a fascination with pop culture.
I'm Jessie Miles, and contrary to popular belief, I am a natural brunette.
Today we are talking about Lily Collins, but before we do, we're going to take it back to the root of the problem and talk about the parents. Her parents are her dad, English musician Phil Collins. His name may ring a bell as he is both a drummer and a singer. He was in a band called Genesis and also had a significant solo career, Jessie. In 1981, for example, he released the song In the Air Tonight. Would you like to sing a little bit for me, Jessie? Or
Do I?
No,
I've already humiliated myself so much on this pod. I'll just go so far as to say as I am aware of the song.
Okay.
Unlike all the films you mentioned, I've heard of this.
I have heard of this really famous song.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
It's niche.
Her mother is Jill Tavelman rather. She's an American actress, architect, and businesswoman who's from LA.
That's such a hot combo.
I know.
Actress, architect.
She's obviously like really smart.
Yeah, love that.
I can tell. She was the president of the Beverly Hills Women's Club for 3 terms as well. So like a bit of a high flyer.
That sounds like a fancy girl club. What is that?
It sounds like a social club I wouldn't be invited to,
It
Jessie.
sounds like that episode of The Simpsons where Marge has to like find a new outfit and she has
That's
that
it.
pink she like 2-piece.
Reinvents
That's
the
what
same
I'm
pink
picturing.
outfit.
Yeah, that's
it's like
what I'm
you running
picturing.
around Randwick and Coogee, Jessie.
Yes, that
In
is
the
very
same
close to
bikini.
home with my blue beehive. It's hard.
Stunning. So when Phil and Jill split up in 1996, Phil and Jill. Lily was just 5. She went to live with her mother in LA, Jessie.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me why they split up, please?
Yeah, I'd love to. So the marriage collapsed in the early 90s. Phil was touring around the world with Genesis. Apparently Phil had an affair with Lavinia Lang, his ex-fiancée. That sounds like a cartoon name.
Lavinia
sorry,
Lang. Like
yeah.
an evil person as
LL.
well.
Yeah, the name's Lang. Lavinia Lang. Okay, so that was in 92 when the affair was. It was his ex-fiancée.
Messy.
Phil is quoted in The Sun as saying, "I was following my heart, but it turned out I was being a bit of a bitch."
I assumed from the bee with the stars it was bastard.
No, let's keep it. Don't you want a sassy Phil? I was being a bit of a bitch to you when I had an affair with
I'm
Lavinia
such
Lang.
a bitch.
The fakest name I've ever heard.
Yeah, sure, Lavinia. Okay.
My name's Jessie Giles. Sorry, go on.
That's fine, Jessie. The subject of this podcast was born on the 18th of March in 1989, making her 35 years old, Jessie.
Lovely.
Welcome to the world, Lily, and welcome to Nepobaby. Let's get into our next phase, one that we are calling Early Life and Earliest of Nepo Starts. Lily had her first acting gig at the age of 2, Jessie.
Oh, thank God. You know, when you can make your own decisions.
Yeah, when you're like barely talking.
I feel like when I was 2, I like knew what I wanted in life.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Which was probably to eat or go to sleep. She appeared in the short-lived BBC series called Growing Pains. I've given you a photo there to describe, Jessie. Can you give me a little synopsis of what you are seeing from Lily in that photo?
Yeah. Well, she's a literal baby.
Yeah.
So obviously a huge burden to her co-stars. They're having to hold her up literally in frame. So
difficult to
it's
work
not
with.
it's so hard working with 2-year-olds. It's so 90s. The hair is hilarious. She's got a little bow. and those weird little Mary Janes that they put all kids in from like 2 to 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only have one shoe.
Yeah, that's the child shoe.
That's fair. Lily did mention in an interview with The Guardian, Jessie, that she gained the role through connections in the family.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you have a quote.
So she says, I wasn't thrown into it or anything. I think it was through some connection with my grandmother or something like that.
Her grandmother was a talent agent.
Oh my God.
I love that she's giving vague. Sus. Yeah.
She's like, I don't know if my grandma was a talent agent.
I can't quite remember. No, grandma got you the role doll. It's what happened.
I love the smoke and mirrors around it though. Like maybe she was just toddling along the street and they were like, you're going to be a star.
To be fair, she was 2. She wouldn't have had a lot of choice with it. But it's like, well, you knew that you got the role through your grandma, so let's just be honest about things.
See, and it's back to the agenda I keep pushing of...
Is it the parents?
Is it the parents and why? I don't know. Haven't they got other things to do than put their kids on set? I don't know.
Maybe
That's
not.
Just me.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, Lily grew up in Guildford in Surrey in the UK. So... as we previously mentioned, she moved to the US with her mother when she was only 5. So short-lived childhood in the UK, but helped her with her accent work, I would say. And that may come into play a little bit later on, Jessie.
Oh.
She graduated high school at Harvard Westlake School in the US, an independent co-educational university preparatory day school consisting of 2 different campuses in LA.
Massive.
I feel like all Nepo babies go to like a bit of a weird school.
Yeah, it sounds like a summer camp with books.
Yeah, if you want.
It's like not high school, it's like an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries if not about the books.
Do yoga if you prefer. She went to university at the University of Southern California, to be exact, where she majored in broadcast journalism, Jessie.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
There you go. She's a bit different. She's not just doing acting.
I love.
Sadly, as a teenager, Lily suffered from an eating disorder, which she actually revealed in her book. What was that called, Jessie?
Lily's book is called Unfiltered. No shame, no regrets, just me. Which is actually the same lettering as my tattoo I have on my lower back. So got a lot in common with Lily.
Stunning. I don't know about writing a book at 20, but, go off, Lily.
I mean, it's kind of like the Brooklyn Beckham thing though. Like I can't say I wouldn't if I had the opportunity at 20.
Oh, I think probably and given she's gone through some stuff, so eating disorder type stuff, she probably feels that she has something to say at this point. But it's like, if I'd written a book at 20, it would be bad.
I would have read your book at 20. I want to know what 20-year-old Mon would have thought.
Nothing good, honestly. She may be able to use this experience though, Jessie, later on, because she does have a role later down in the track that may need inspiration. We're going to talk about it in the next phase that we're calling I'm an Actress, Not a Socialite.
Oh.
Before we get into the career timeline, Jessie, I want to know, is Miss Lily Collins aware of the privilege that she has?
I don't know. I've got a quote here from The Guardian, or an interview with The Guardian and her from 2012. So this is her. Now I'm running into these certain people who've seen me on billboards and they come up to me and go, gosh, it's so funny. I remember when you were on tour with your dad and I held you, like Elton and people from that era.
The old I held you as a baby.
Also, like the saying Elton without John is so funny
just
to me.
Elton.
Because it could be just like Elton from Accounts.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And it's like, why bring it up? I don't know. I feel like if I was a Nepo baby, I'd be like, oh, I probably shouldn't say that. It's not the most in touch thing I could possibly say.
I think it's a great pull quote. I'm sure we've all been in situations where people come up to you and say like, I held you when you were a baby. No one famous, but like.
Maybe like a weird uncle.
I've been in like parties with family friends and been like, wow, you can walk and talk. And I'm
it's an uncomfortable conversation regardless. You're like, cool.
I really try not to do it. However, when I do see like younger cousins, I'm like, I'm going to say it, sorry. You were a baby and I held you and now you're not, just in case you didn't know. I don't know.
Now you're walking and talking.
Maybe it's an age thing. I just got to let them know. I'm like,
I haven't started doing that yet, but I might.
It's fun. Yeah. It's actually powerful. So
I might start doing it. Well, in 2009, Lily appeared in 2 episodes of the revamped series 90210.
Oh, they
Do
brought
you
it
remember
back.
this?
I didn't see it, but I remember thinking
This had me in a
Interesting.
chokehold in high
Okay.
school. It was terrible.
It was just a
was
remake of the original?
Yeah, pretty
Right.
much exactly what it used to be, but
Sure.
with new people.
Okay.
Lily only was in 2 episodes, as I mentioned. Her character's name was Phoebe Abrams, and she was in the finale episode of the season, which is kind of a big deal, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a
Bringing out
pretty
big
popular
guns.
show at the time.
Sure.
So I think pretty good get for her so early in her career. In her first starring role, Jessie, she
Yep.
was cast in The Blind Side alongside Sandra Bullock. Did you watch this film?
No.
Good. It was a bit of a sports film, so it's a
Yeah.
bit tricky to get your head
I
around.
know the vague plot.
Yeah. It's a bit. I don't want to be negative, but it's a bit white savior vibes. It is based on a true story.
It's like the poster child for the white savior movement.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah. She does play a real life person. So she played Southern Belle Collins Toohey, which I find ironic given her name is Lily Collins. Anyway, whatever.
God, spooky.
Yeah, so she begins quite skeptical of her like adopted brother, but ultimately supports him and her parents. And the movie characters, I've given you an image, Jessie, were based off real people. So can you please describe what she looks like in this image compared to the real life person?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Lily's eyebrows are quite famous.
Yes.
So they're very thick compared to the IRL Collins. But apart from that, I'd say it's pretty good casting.
Pretty similar. Yeah. The
Um,
features are quite similar. Like, I mean, they've obviously done makeup to make them appear quite similar, but
high
I
cheekbones,
think,
brunette, similar colouring. Yeah,
yeah.
Proud of them.
Nailed this one.
well done.
Dear me. More on that in the same article for The Guardian. She mentions that when she auditioned for her breakout role in Mirror Mirror alongside Julia Roberts, where she played Snow White, she actually was unhappy with her performance in the second audition and requested to try again.
Okay, must be nice because when I did bad auditions, they would just say, thank you.
No, that's enough.
Doors there.
Thanks. Yeah, no, imagine being like, no, I'm going to audition
you
again.
left your bag.
And they
So-
let you. Like they let you come back in.
The confidence, and that's also where I'm going to like, that's the nepotism for me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
And they can't be like, no, because we're running behind and we've got 50 other brunettes in the corner. They're going to
Yeah.
be like, yes, Phil Collins' daughter, please.
No problem.
You'll be in our heart.
All good.
Continue.
And she could have really stunk it up in the first audition and she gets another go. Like to get that opportunity.
It's just so good.
It is. It's great. Anyway, she got the role. Good for her.
Yeah.
I did play you a little bit of the interview with Julia Roberts before. What did you think of Julia Roberts and Lily in that interview with Movie Guide?
I think she's actually, can't tell if it's just her being media trained, but she's quite sweet and humble and very excited to be with Julia. And, you know, she has that fun little like breathy giggle where she's like, I can't actually believe I'm like in it.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know. It's almost endearing.
It's
I'll
almost
say.
endearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
She does seem like a young girl in this. I even commented, I was like, oh my God, her voice. Like it's so
Yeah.
like vocal fry.
Yeah.
She obviously hasn't had that like, I don't know, vocal training yet, perhaps. But she just sounds like a really young teenager with a bit of vocal fry going on, which is quite humbling.
Sounds very normal.
Yes,
I'd say.
very normal. Now, Lily being a Nepobaby obviously had a few more opportunities than her peers, Jessie. What did Lily say about the roles that she chooses?
So she says, I'm drawn to the roles that have real substance, that aren't just the victim or the teenage girl or the girlfriend.
Must be
Once
nice.
again, just like, yeah, we all are. We're all drawn to roles that aren't the girlfriend.
I would love to not play
Like,
the girlfriend.
I was
but
saying to you at Brekkie Mon, are we allowed to talk about how we hang out outside of the podcast?
We are.
Okay, great. I was saying to you, yeah, one of the weirdest days I had when I was trying to do all that stuff was going and auditioning for the role of waitress, never hearing back whilst working as a waitress for my real job. And I was like, wow, the little catch-22 irony, tables are turning of it all.
feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's just wild.
But also, like, it's, you know, the other side of it is, yeah, hell yeah, if I was Phil Collins' daughter, I'd love to turn down roles that weren't just like
yeah, that's not going to serve me in my career. It's like, wow, to be at that point must be really nice. And it's early. Like she hasn't done a lot and she's already saying that sort of stuff. It's like, okay.
It happens to a lot of people though. Like, you know, you go to drama school and you're playing Ophelia and then you're out in the world doing a KFC ad. It's really like that is the reality of it.
Yeah.
For other people.
Not me.
Not Lily. Straight to Julia Roberts.
Yeah. Straight to Julia. Obviously, big heavy hitter in the industry.
Yeah.
It brings us to the next role that I want to talk about, Jessie. She starred as Clary Frey in the Mortal Instruments City of Bones film adaptation of the first book. That was in 2013.
Okay.
Did you see this movie or have you read the book?
I've never even heard of it.
It's very like a bit fantasy sort of vibes. And I feel like this speaks to what she was saying in that interview. It's like, oh, you know, I get to make choices that are different, that sort of stand me apart from the girlfriend or the best friend sort of roles.
Sure. You want to be a best friend with a gun or a best friend with wings.
Yeah. She's a bit like she's got magic powers and all that sort of stuff, which is like kind of cool for 2013.
Yeah, fun.
Obviously very popular stuff. In 2016, Lily starred in To the Bone, a role that may have been influenced by her own struggles with an eating disorder, Jessie. Although Lily's performance was celebrated when it premiered at Sundance Film Festival, there were some pretty serious concerns about the film at the time.
Yeah. So there was backlash when the film premiered on Netflix in 2017. There was controversy about whether it would be triggering to watch for those people with eating disorders. And that was further fueled by another original Netflix show, which was released around the similar time, called 13 Reasons Why, after it was accused of glamorizing suicide.
I remember this period in time when all of these shows were coming out on Netflix and I was like, why is everything so dark? Like, I don't want to watch this for entertainment.
Yeah, I didn't watch To the Bone. But I found it very interesting that they cast someone who had an eating disorder.
And who had like released a book about it not that long ago.
Yeah.
Like that's not long ago at all. It's 2016. Like.
Yeah. And also I think like those things shouldn't be accessible to everyone. Like when 13 Reasons Why came out, I was like, wow, if this came out when I was in high school, I'd be like, oh, like, you know.
Glamorizes it.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about me all the time and everyone feels really bad for the way they treated me.
Well, it's just really like, I don't know. And I think it's dangerous for teenagers, but it centers yourself in the narrative. And I don't think that's the case for the most part. Like no one's talking about you. No one's thinking about you. Also, like no one's plotting against you.
You're not there.
Yeah.
To see all these things happen. So
yeah,
it was odd. It was odd.
So I didn't love that, but I think good for her for taking that on. Perhaps it would have been like a cathartic role for her. Yeah, potentially.
I wonder. I don't know how that would have been for her.
It's very soon.
It's very interesting, but I mean, I guess, you know, as she said before in her quote, she wants roles that have substance and a meaty. Obviously, this meant a lot to her.
Yeah.
It's so close to her heart. So I guess, like, you know, I hope that she was far enough away from all of it to be able to jump into something like that.
Yeah. And look, she was praised for her performance. People were saying it's very real, it's very gritty, it's very grounded. So good on her.
Yeah.
In 2017, Lily received her first Golden Globe nomination for Rules Don't Apply, a movie about the life of a businessman and film producer, Howard Hughes.
Golden Globe?
Yeah. Massive.
Wow, I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it?
Did you watch it?
I haven't seen that movie, no.
I'm going to watch it. I need to watch it. So what was it? Was it for supporting?
Yes, I believe it was a supporting role, and it's the life of Howard Hughes, who's a film producer.
Yeah.
I think I vaguely remember when this came out, but
this is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
I do not think about her in Golden Globes.
I mean, I think she's one of those people that has sort of gone under the radar a little bit.
In my life, certainly.
Yeah.
For me, she's another Dakota. Like, I can take her or leave her. Yeah.
Interesting. I think she's made choices for sure. Like I really liked her in this next role that we're about to talk about, Jessie.
Okay.
2019, she co-starred with your favorite man, Zac Efron, in Extremely Wicked, Shocking, Evil and Vile.
Yes.
Now, this was the film about the life and crimes of Ted Bundy. Lily plays his long-term girlfriend, which would have been a very complicated role. I'm going to play a clip here.
Yeah. I've actually seen this movie.
Huge from you, Jessie.
So if you could just put some applause in, then that'd be great. Yeah, I saw it at the cinema. I don't know enough about Ted Bundy to know what his girlfriend at the time was like. I found her a little bit blah.
Okay.
But because I'm such a
Interesting.
Zeph fan, I'm like, maybe I was just like entranced with his performance.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think it's because he is so charming, right? I think there's two ways she could have played it. She could have played it like really hard and been like that sort of diehard girlfriend. Like we've got to keep the time period in mind here. Like women didn't have a lot of rights. Mm-hmm. Or she could do the way that she did it, which I think was quite subtle.
I think that's it. And I don't know if that was a scripting or directing thing, but it just looked like she didn't have enough to do.
Yeah, it was choices.
I feel like
were
a lot of
subtle.
the scenes were her going, and then it would cut to something else.
Yeah,
like,
she was like about to like unpack something and then it was like, no, we don't need to do that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's like that funny TikTok trend that's like, I'm Ted Bundy, and they say things and she's like, huh, and it cuts.
Where they cut the boyfriend off.
Yeah, literally. She was that.
So good. So good. Okay, so this next role and last role, in fact, I want to discuss, Jessie, is one that you're definitely going to know. Emily in Paris.
Oh, yes. I am aware.
Huge. Lily actually received a second Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Actress in a television series, musical or comedy for this.
Really?
Yes. I do want to mention she did also produce this.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, this is blowing my mind. I need to know who the other nominees were. I need to know what else was happening on Netflix at that time. Because, it's bad, right?
Oh, I mean, so bad it's good, I
Am
think.
I going insane? Like, she got nominated for this?
Yeah.
Is this like the Golden
But, I mean,
Globes but sponsored by
Keep
like
in mind,
Bunnings?
it's television series, music or comedy. Musical comedy.
Was it
like,
funny?
I think it's kind of funny. In a way that I'm tuning out, I'm going to be on my phone the whole time.
Yeah, it's like a comfort watch, I
Yeah.
think, for a lot of people. I actually went to a
I get
Hens
it.
last year that was Emily in Paris themed.
Oh, I hate that.
You heard it? Well, it's my cousin. She listens.
Love
so,
that.
Yeah.
Keep listening.
We love it. And it was actually really fun. There were little
What did you
Eiffel
wear?
Thank you for asking. I wore a skin tight, like leopard print number. And then
Sexy.
I had like a vintage kind of silk scarf tied under my head.
That actually sounds quite cute.
It actually wasn't bad.
It's just not something that would pop into my mind when I think of
a
hens. Yeah.
But I think that's why it was so we're like now doing a pod on Candace. Thanks, Candace. But that's why it was so good because it wasn't the
done thing.
Yeah, it was different.
I'm different. I'm unusual.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
So she was nominated.
She was,
for
yeah,
Emily
she
in
was
Paris.
nominated for this. Lily starred in the show, obviously, about an American living in Paris, Jessie, and I have showed you just a short clip.
Yeah.
Ironically, Lily does speak French fluently, but her character in this does not. So Emily does not. Lily does.
So this is Darren Star, who
Yes.
is the creator of Sex and the City.
Yes.
I think he does a really good job in finding those kind of like Carrie Bradshaw, like, I'm just a girl rolling around in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like things keep happening to me.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I think it makes sense that she doesn't speak French. But interesting to know that IRL Lily does.
I think it's interesting. She has even spoken about this in interviews that she found, at least in the first season of Emily in Paris, that she was too similar to Emily and she couldn't find any differences between her and the character. And then
She said that?
Yeah, she said that. And then as the seasons went on, she had to find those differences to make it more nuanced. And I was like, it feels like you're just telling us you're playing yourself.
She's playing herself? The character's like...
Yeah,
I'm
but I
having a
feel like
mentee
she got more and more like delusional, a bit delulu
Yeah.
as the seasons go
I
on,
thought
and I'm
she
like,
was
is that
meant
her heightening? Maybe.
Isn't it meant to be like ultra quirky and like hee hee? and all that.
I mean, I
That's
find
what I
the
got.
character quite annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she's just like a victim of her circumstances, which just really annoys me about a female character.
There's been, because I am evil, I Googled a lot of like, criticism for it. And what kept coming up was that just, she like doesn't learn French in the thing. Like the character's written really not in the best light.
Well, I mean, let's get to it, Jessie. Let's hear some reviews of Emily in Paris.
Yeah, I've got some. Okay, so this is 5 stars. Are you tired of 2020? A worldwide pandemic, racial unrest, and political turmoil can leave you feeling that it's just not going to work out in the end. We'll take a dive into Emily in Paris and regain some simple confidence in the human race. Was that written by her?
It's like glowing.
Yeah, wow. What?
And for the most part, the reviews are glowing. Like it's a 4.8 star, like on Google.
What?
Yeah.
Can
Which
I read a
shocked
1
me.
star?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, 1 star. Confused, conflicted, and subjective morality. Story of Emily Cooper. This series is typically American POV about French, so don't take it seriously. There is a lot of culture bashing of French people, as typical Americans do make them look woke. With its complex love triangle and confused lovers, the story goes on loop once 3 lead characters are introduced. Saving grace is the location, Paris, which is beyond beautiful. The French actors are pitch perfect, fashion on point.
I kind of agree.
Yeah. That's Patricia Field who did the clothes for Sex and the City. So they brought her into...
The clothing is amazing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
could Emily afford it? No.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that was always the criticism with Sex and the City as well. It's like this person is saying they can't afford rent every month. They're borrowing money. They're broke.
Yeah.
And yet you're wearing designer things. You're wearing like designer shoes. You've got designer bags. Like it's just confusing.
I think also what Americans do really well is like inserting themselves into other cultures.
Yeah.
And I think like, I mean, I've only seen 2 eps, but I think a clever way to play that is to kind of like play off the like ignorant American in a different world. But I think
That's true.
at times, and perhaps in this series, it's come across quite like insulting-ish to
Well, I
France.
think if you're not going to try and learn the language and you live somewhere, it is
Yes.
insulting.
Yeah, and I think just, I've seen a few like comedic moments built around like, I don't know, like French people being rude and like other weird stereotypes. It's like, I don't know if that's the vibe for this.
Yeah, I mean, in one of the series, I don't think it is in the first series, but in at least the second series, she goes to like French classes to try and learn the language. So it's
Okay.
like, okay,
Yeah.
we're trying at least.
I know there's a lot of kind of memes online about how she suddenly becomes like a hugely popular Instagram, even though her photos are like terrible.
They're like just like selfies of her, and it's like, what?
Yeah, and it like blows up, and she's like baguette, and it gets like 80,000 likes.
Oui, oui.
Yeah. Which, you know what, gives me confidence. So.
Emily in Paris. Okay, we are moving on to our final stage, Jessie, in one that we're calling acting prodigy to executive producer.
Ooh, EP.
So Jessie, not only is our girl Lily a star in front of the camera, but she's been killing it behind it too. She was executive producer on The Accomplice. This project that is currently in pre-production is for Amazon, pretty major deal, and is an adaptation from the book of the same name. She will also, Jessie, be starring in it.
That's nice.
So convenient.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're EP, then like, why not?
I guess if you're in control of
Yeah.
the casting.
Yeah.
She's been doing a lot of book adaptations. So the Summer book is her next one. She was named as executive producer on this project as well. It's currently in post-production, and it seems like she might be keeping it in the family, Jessie.
Okay. I have it here actually that Charlie McDowell will direct and produce with Case Study Films. That's the production company he co-founded with Alex Orlovsky and wife Lily Collins. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Huge if true.
Wow.
And it is true. As we mentioned earlier, Jessie, from 2020 to 2022, she produced around 30 episodes of Emily in Paris.
Okay.
So pretty good going there. As well as Charade, Love is in the Air, Fashion Victim, and Windfall, all in 2022. So very busy
Busy girl.
2022 for Lily.
Yeah.
We will just quickly touch on the producing husband and wife duo, Jessie. Can you please tell me how they met?
Yeah, of course. Lily and Charlie McDowell met in 2019 on the set of Gilded Rage.
Wow. The couple got engaged in 2020 and the star posted the update to her Instagram as they holidayed in New Mexico. He is actually a fellow Nepobaby, Jessie.
Is he?
He is.
Surprise
Another one for the
attack.
pod, put him on the list.
Okay. Who's he?
His dad is the star of Clockwork Orange, actor Malcolm McDowell, and his mum is Oscar-winning actress Mary Steenburgen.
Oh, okay.
Burgeon, maybe. Steenburgen.
Nice.
Do you have anything else to tell me about their relationship, Jessie?
Yes. So this is Lily chatting about him, saying it was one of those situations where I knew the second I met him that I wanted to be his wife one day. So it was just a matter of when, really. So confident.
Yeah.
I love it. And yeah, in 2021 they were married. She posted on her Instagram with the caption, "I never wanted to be someone's someone more than I do yours. And now I get to be your wife." On September 4th, 2021, we officially became each other's forever. This is so...
It's a bit ick.
Did Emily in Paris write this?
It is a bit ick, isn't it?
Yeah. I love, but I hate bad captions. So it's a fine line.
It's just a bit icky.
Yeah.
I mean, we have reached the end of our episode for today, Jessie. Do you have any thoughts about Lily Collins?
I'm exhausted. I think I forgot about her parents, to be honest, because I was so overwhelmed by her work and her producing. So
Yep.
I think where she got initially, obviously, was off the back of everyone's favorite Tarzan song. But I think as much as I'm, I guess, out of touch with all the Golden Globe noms, I'm handing it to her.
Yeah,
I think she's
she's
really
done
done
well.
her own thing. Yeah. What about you?
I do find it interesting, particularly, the lack of admission about her grandma being a talent agent that got her that initial role
At 2.
at 2. I think that's so interesting. It's like that's a really vital detail that you're not telling an interviewer, even though it's kind of come up.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, I think that's fascinating. And I mean, I guess her dad's a musician, not necessarily an actor. So similar industry, but not the same. So it may not be super relatable. But I think she's built a really solid career for herself, despite the nepotism. I think it's she's a good actor. I think she's done some interesting things across the US and the UK. She can do both accents, which is hand it to her. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think honestly she stands alone. I don't feel the nepotism energy as much with her.
I think she's not like the first person you think of when you think nepotism as well, which is always nice,
She's so under the radar. I'm still in shock about the Golden Globes. I think maybe I underrate her, but she's actually got incredible staying power and obviously a great mind for business.
Yeah, I mean, I think she started doing the producing stuff early, which is a really good choice, particularly as a female actress. I think that's
so clever. Controlling your own work.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, being able to cast yourself, being able to cast other people, having that like backup plan, because I think we all know it's disgusting, but like people are always thinking as soon as someone hits 30, they're like out.
Yeah. I know.
Fascinating. I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on Nepobaby. My name is Monica Reed.
I'm Jessie.
And this is Nepobaby.